Hi guys, Maikeru here. This is my 10 HP hero episode 13. In this episode I get lots and lots of combat gains from the Pest Control spotlight. I managed to get 100 combat just before, which is great. Turned out for some awesome gains. Alongside this, after the Pest Control weekend I focused on Divination and I managed to get my first Untrimmed 99 that you guys voted for. Thanks a ton to all the 328 of you who voted. It started getting quite close between Divination and Prayer, but Divination was in the lead from the start and it maintained its lead and was the one that ended up winning. So as you guys wanted me to get Divination untrimmed, I focused on that skill for the last few weeks for the majority, other than the extra combat gains and things like that. I tried to be as efficient as possible while leveling it, and I'll show you how I did it in this video. But I'm happy that Divination won, as the Divination cape is probably one of the nicest in the game in my opinion that can be untrimmed. I'm very happy with what you guys voted for. After Double XP weekend I stayed at Runescape for all of the double experience until it went back down to 1 times. And then a little tiny bit after that and I got from level 75 all the way to 83 Runecrafting, which is really helpful and helps get me on my way to 99. I may try and do the Abyss now I have some defense. I think I might be able to run through it okay, but if I ever get targeted to be PK'd I'd be screwed, so it would be something I'd have to try out. I did a little bit of harvesting on Dragoontooth Isle and I managed to get to 90 Divination, which means I could move Divination spots into the desert. So to help combat the damage you would take in the desert, as I'm only a 10 HP pure and not a skiller, I can use the Toma Frost, which requires a magic level of 48 to use. The Toma Frost alongside a regen bracelet allows you to keep your HP higher in the desert, just like an enchanted water tiara, but as I don't want to do that quest and I'm not even sure if I can do that quest on a 10 HP pure, it was just much easier to buy a Toma Frost and use a regen bracelet. So off to the desert I went. Before I went to the desert I wanted to use up all my 10,000 memory strands, as they cap at 10k. This meant I had to run around, get loads of different engrams and use different types of energies on the engrams. The Memorial to Guthix helps boost XP rates really well if you're doing Divination normally. I did most of the engrams and this allowed me to use up quite a lot of my memory strands, so I can just worry about getting the other couple of engrams done once I'm capped on strands again, and then I can think about prestiging, so I can just chuck in loads and loads of strands for experience, as I cannot do while Guthix sleeps to do it a second time. I just chose the perk that allowed the Divination springs to be lasting longer, which means I could just be a bit more AFK with my Divination, which is great. Before going to Pest Control, just before the spotlight, I had to get 70 defense and 93 magic. I managed to get 70 defense from Jack of Trades, and then I got my 93 magic from Superheating. This allowed me to wear really good gear with the 70 defense for Pest Control, so that I didn't take as much damage as I was in Rune. I bought a full set of bandos with the bandos war shield so that I could take as little damage as possible. So doing Pest Control was so awesome with the 100+ ladder. The thing with the 100+ ladder compared to any others is that it's so fast to get games and there's so many people doing it during the spotlight. As soon as you enter the boat, a game gets sent off. If it doesn't take you, a next game will be right around the corner and you'll get sent off that time. Being able to do constant games, I could do around 30 games in an hour. Each game gave 4 accommodations, which means I was getting around 120 accommodations every hour on average. So over this weekend I managed to use a lot of hours and get a lot of accommodations for my combat stats. All I would do is get my 5,000 points from repairing the barricades and then just AFK disassemble maple logs. You don't have to constantly repair because people are just killing the portal so quickly anyway, and then you have the guys defending anyway. There isn't much point in you repairing anything further than the 5k. It barely took any time to repair to get the 5k, and then once you got the 5k, AFKing was really nice, as I could do R hats on my main at the same time. Being able to do R hats on the main and Pest Control on the AWP means that Pest Control on the AWP was actually really AFK. There would be times where you could get a little bit frustrated with maybe dying to some mobs, but for the most part with the Bando's armor it was all good and it was smooth sailing. I got some boots. Which ones do I want? Battle Mage, Trickster or Vanguard? We'll take some Vanguard ones. Thank you, game. Before I traded in any points, I quickly ran to the circus to get my range level up so that my points would go as far as possible in order to give me as many range levels as I could. I got from level 29 to 32 range at the circus, and then I did 2 Jack of Trade runs. As I reset it with Viswax, I got 33 range the first time, and then the second Jack of Trade run got me to 34 range. So I got 5 extra levels for when I put points in range. It will give me more XP per point now. I managed to get 1,000 points, which was the cap, so I couldn't get any more points after this. This meant I had to spend them on some skills. I spent most of the points on attack and range. I put a little bit into defense as well though, because defense is always really useful as I want to take as little damage as possible. But considering I only had 45 attack and level 34 range, those two really needed to get up, and I was going to get the most amount of levels by putting some points in those. As you can see, once all the points were done and I had used up my 1,000, I got to 58 attack, which was 13 attack levels. I got to 59 range, which was 25 range levels, and I got to 73 defense, which was 3 defense levels. So these 1,000 points got me so many levels, it was unreal. My total level is skyrocketing and it's already at 2,139. It also got me 101 combat. I managed to get another pair of boots. This time I thought I'd take the Battle Mage boots. These are tier 85 and I'm nowhere near the levels required for them at the moment, but they're still nice to have. After this, I just disassembled as many maple logs as I could while doing pest control until the end of the spotlight. When the spotlight was over, I had so many simple parts. I had 23,950 simple parts. So as you can see, I disassembled tons of those maple logs. These parts are going to come in really handy. With all of that energy I'm getting for 99 divination, I can make them all into charges and make a little bit more money that way. I should be able to make around 50 to 60 mil with divine charges, getting 99 divination by harvesting the energies and doing caches. I managed to get nearly 800 points again before the pest control spotlight ended, which means I got 1,800 points, which is not bad at all for one weekend. I then spent the points in the variety of the 3 skills again into range, attack and defense. This time I didn't get quite as many levels. I managed to get a total of 17 levels. I got 8 levels in attack and got to 66 attack. I got 1 level in defense and got to 74 defense, and I managed to get 8 levels in range as well, which got me to 67 range. Now my range isn't just sitting there at 29 anymore, it's actually competing with the rest of my combat stats, and it's very nice to look at compared to what it used to look. My total level is now 2,156. Then it was back to divination in the desert. I managed to get to 91 divination, and then I got full on memory strands again. This meant I had to gather the last of the engrams. I could get all of them without any hassle except for one. The last one I needed required the Lost City quest. Lost City can be really annoying because you have to make sure the spirit kills itself and that you don't do any damage to it, otherwise obviously you'll level up. So using Ring of Recoils and some Sour Brews, I made the spirit hit itself for a very long time. After it was nearly dead and very low on HP, it despawned. I tried it again after this and it despawned again, which means just a Ring of Recoil was not enough. I had to fight it again and use the tactic that I used on that giant during that Holy Grail quest. I had to keep myself in combat with curses and then use my defensive abilities to gain adrenaline. With the adrenaline, once it's over 50%, I can use the reflect spell. I managed to craft myself a imp hide shield from the imp hide that you can take onto Entrana. Having the imp hide shield allowed me to cast that reflect and let him hit himself for the damage that it would deal to me. Doing this made me able to kill the spirit in time before it despawned. I think it's because of my defense level. My defense level was too high and the spirit was not hitting enough and as often on me to actually kill itself like it would on a level 3. So doing it this way was the only way I could do it to actually kill the spirit. I finally killed the spirit, so I chopped the tree a fair amount of times to get a couple of spare Draymond staffs so I could go into the Lost City of Xanaris to get my last engram. As you can see, I completed the Lost City there, and then after I got all my engrams I went back, prestiged and traded all of my memory strands in for over 100,000 divination experience. This got me to 92 Divination, and I was ready to go back to the desert with no memory strands so I could get back up to 10k before coming back here. I managed to get to 94 Divination, and then I trained it a little bit more after this. With the Chronicle Fragments and the Memory Strands, I was able to get an additional 150,000 experience, which I used as soon as I could in order to get me to 95 Divination so I could move colony. The desert was getting really annoying and boring. By the time I was 98 Divination in this clip, I used 7 daily D&D reset tokens that I had in the bank. This allowed me to do 7 days worth of double caches, which really helped bump up the experience I was getting. Not to mention the new update with the skilling outfits allowed me to get the whole Diviner's outfit when I only had one piece when I started. The whole Diviner's outfit definitely helped. Then doing my last and final cache on this account for a good amount of time, I got 99 Divination, and it was my first 99 on this account that you guys voted for to be my Untrimmed cape. Always really nice when you get a first 99 on an account. Now I can start working on those 98s and get them to 99. As soon as I got 99 Divination, I ran over to the Divination cape seller. I was greeted by Crodius and Just No, so thank you guys for coming and saying hello. I bought my Divination cape, used the hood on the cape to make it a hooded Divination cape, and I wore it with pride. Look how nice that cape looks untrimmed. Definitely worth keepsaking and wearing whenever I get the opportunity. Then there was only one thing left to do, and that was to make divine charges with the energy that I had gathered from getting 99 Divination. I made loads and loads of divine charges, and I used up all the energy I could. In the end I managed to make 546 divine charges, which totaled to 41 million. A little bit less than I expected, but because I'd done all those reset tokens and done so many caches, it kind of makes sense that I only made 41 mil. But either way, 41 mil is still a lot of money, and it definitely gives me some money back for the money that I spent on things like crafting during Double XP weekend. It's going to be a very nice addition to my cash stack. Thanks for watching everyone, hope you enjoyed this progress video and seeing my 10 HP pure get its first 99. The next progress episode should have a lot of 99s in it, as I have quite a few skills at 98. Give it a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new for future content like this. Feel free to join my friends chat Maikeru in game if you fancy the chat. Goblin Slayers with a Z, my clan is open to everyone and anyone. We're having clan events 2 times a week, so feel free to pop in, say hi and join in with the festivities. The Discord link will be in the description if you fancy chatting on voice communications with me or anyone else in there. Quite a nice little family that's coming together on Discord as well as the clan. And my Twitter link is in the description as well, so if you fancy talking to me on Twitter or just being up to date with what I'm doing and just things that are happening, feel free to follow me there. And until next time, see ya.